Have you ever noticed how you can scroll through social media for hours? But when it comes to that important project, that email you need to send, that conversation you need to have, suddenly your brain just shuts down. You tell yourself you're lazy. You call yourself undisciplined. You beat yourself up thinking you lack willpower. But what if I told you that procrastination isn't laziness? It's your subconscious protecting you from something much deeper. What if every time you delay, every time you avoid, every time you find yourself doing literally anything else, instead of what you should be doing, your brain is actually trying to save you? Dr. Judson Brewer, neuroscientist at Yale, discovered something that will completely change how you see procrastination. It's not a character flaw. It's not weakness. It's a sophisticated defense mechanism that your brain has developed to protect you from perceived threats. And the threat isn't the task itself. The threat is what completing that task might reveal about you. Think about it. When was the last time you procrastinated on something that truly didn't matter to you? You probably can't remember because we don't procrastinate on meaningless things. We procrastinate on what matters most. That project you've been putting off. That's not laziness. That's your brain protecting you from the possibility of failing at something important. That difficult conversation you're avoiding. Your subconscious is shielding you from potential rejection or conflict. But here's the devastating truth. By trying to protect you from temporary discomfort, your brain is trapping you in permanent mediocrity. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. Because once you understand what's really happening in your mind when you procrastinate, you'll never see it the same way again. You've been living a lie about yourself. You think you're undisciplined, but the truth is you're overly disciplined, just in the wrong direction. Every time you choose Netflix over that presentation, every time you clean your entire house instead of making that phone call, every time you reorganize your desk for the third time instead of writing that email, you're not being random. You're following a very specific pattern. Your brain has classified certain tasks as threats to your identity. And just like your body has an immune system to protect you from physical threats, your mind has developed an avoidance system to protect you from psychological ones. Dr. Brewer's research shows that procrastination activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. When you think about doing something your subconscious perceives as threatening, your brain literally experiences it as danger. But what makes something threatening to your subconscious? It's simple. Anything that could potentially prove you're not who you think you are. If you see yourself as competent, your brain will make you avoid tasks where you might fail. If you see yourself as likable, you'll procrastinate on conversations where you might be rejected. If you identity as intelligent, you'll delay starting projects where you might look foolish. The procrastination isn't protecting you from the task. It's protecting your self-image from reality. Have you ever noticed how you can do complex things effortlessly when they don't threaten your identity? You can learn the entire plot of a TV series, master a video game, organize a social event, because these don't challenge who you think you are. But ask yourself to write that important document, start that business, have that difficult conversation, and suddenly you become a master of distraction. Your brain would rather keep you in familiar discomfort than risk unfamiliar pain. And this is where it gets dangerous because while you're busy protecting your current identity, you're preventing yourself from becoming who you could be. But before you can change this pattern, you need to understand exactly how your brain creates these avoidance mechanisms. And that's what we're diving into next. Inside your brain, there's a war happening. And you don't even know you're the battlefield. Dr. Judson Brewer discovered that procrastination isn't a failure of willpower. It's actually your brain's reward system working perfectly. The problem is, it's rewarding the wrong things. Here's what happens. When you think about a task that threatens your identity, your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, sends a danger signal. This triggers cortisol release, making you feel anxious, overwhelmed, or inadequate. To escape this discomfort, your brain seeks immediate relief. And what provides instant relief? Distraction, social media, cleaning, organizing, researching. anything that takes you away from the threat. When you give in to the distraction, your brain releases dopamine. You feel better immediately. Your brain thinks, great, we avoided danger and feel good now. Let's remember this strategy. This creates what neuroscientists call a habit loop. Trigger, threatening task, routine, avoidance behavior, reward, immediate relief. The more you repeat this cycle, the stronger the neural pathway becomes. Your brain becomes increasingly sophisticated at creating reasons to avoid. I need to research more first. I should wait until I have more time. I'll start Monday when I'm more organized. But here's the cruelest part. While your brain is protecting you from the short-term discomfort of potentially failing, it's guaranteeing the long-term pain of never trying. Dr. Brewer's research shows that chronic procrastinators have hyperactive default mode networks, the part of the brain that activates when we're not focused on anything specific. This means their minds are constantly generating distracting thoughts and worries. It's like having a security guard in your brain who's so paranoid about threats that he locks you in a bunker while the real world passes you by. Your procrastination isn't happening to you. It's happening for you. Your brain thinks it's saving your life, but it's actually preventing you from living it. The question is, are you ready to see who's really controlling your avoidance patterns? Because it's not just your brain working alone. There are external forces that have trained your mind to fear failure more than mediocrity. And understanding these forces is crucial for breaking free. You weren't born a procrastinator. You were trained to become one. Think back to your childhood. What happened when you tried something new and failed? Were you encouraged to try again? Or were you told to be more careful next time? When you made mistakes, were they treated as learning opportunities or evidence that you weren't good enough? Most of us were raised in environments that punished failure more than they rewarded effort. We learned that it's safer to not try than to try and fail publicly. Your parents, teachers, and society taught you that your worth is tied to your performance. So your brain developed a logical strategy. If performance determines worth, and avoiding performance prevents bad performance, then avoidance protects worth. But there's another layer to this that's even more insidious. Social media and modern culture have amplified our fear of failure by making everyone else's life look effortless. You see people's highlight reels and compare them to your behind-the-scenes struggles. This makes starting anything feel like you're already behind, already inadequate, already destined to fail. Dr. Brewer notes that perfectionism and procrastination are twin symptoms of the same disease, the inability to tolerate being human. Perfectionism says, if I can't do it perfectly, I shouldn't start. Procrastination says, if I don't start, I can't fail. Both are strategies to avoid the fundamental human experience of being imperfect, making mistakes, and learning through trial and error. But here's what nobody told you: the discomfort you're avoiding by procrastinating. That's not a bug in the human system. It's a feature. That anxiety you feel before starting something important, that's your brain preparing you for growth. Every time you avoid that discomfort, you're not just delaying a task. You're training your brain that you can't handle challenge. You're confirming to your subconscious that you're too fragile for the very experiences that would make you stronger. The people who seem naturally disciplined aren't avoiding discomfort. They've learned to interpret it differently. Where you see anxiety, they see excitement. Where you see potential failure, they see potential growth. The difference isn't in their circumstances, it's in their relationship with uncertainty. And this relationship can be changed, but not through willpower or time management techniques. It requires something much more fundamental, changing how you relate to failure itself. The cure for procrastination isn't better planning. It's not time management apps or productivity systems. It's radical acceptance of your own humanity. Dr. Brewer's research shows that the most effective way to overcome procrastination is through what he calls mindful awareness. The ability to observe your avoidance patterns without judging them. Here's the counterintuitive truth. The moment you stop fighting your procrastination and start understanding it, it begins to lose power over you. Instead of thinking I'm such a lazy person, try thinking my brain is trying to protect me from something. What is it? Instead of forcing yourself to push through, ask, what story am I telling myself about what will happen if I start this? When you can see your procrastination as a protective mechanism rather than a character flaw, you can start working with your brain instead of against it. The transformation begins when you realize that the discomfort you're avoiding isn't actually dangerous, it's just unfamiliar. Your brain has confused unfamiliar with unsafe. Start small. Choose one task you've been avoiding and ask yourself, what's the smallest possible step I could take toward this right now? Not the whole project, just the tiniest movement forward. When you take that small step, you're not just completing a task, you're retraining your brain to see action as safe. You're proving to your subconscious that you can handle uncertainty without dying. Each small action rewrites the neural pathway. Instead of threat to avoidance relief, you create uncertainty action a competence. But here's the most important part. You must be compassionate with yourself through this process. The same self-criticism that created your procrastination will sabotage your recovery from it. Dr. Brewer emphasizes that shame is procrastination's best friend. Every time you judge yourself for procrastinating, you reinforce the very identity protection that created the procrastination in the first place. The goal isn't to become someone who never procrastinates. The goal is to become someone who procrastinates consciously, who can recognize when your brain is trying to protect you and choose whether that protection is actually serving you. Sometimes the answer will be yes. Sometimes it's wise to wait, to prepare more, to approach differently. But when you're making that choice consciously instead of automatically, you're no longer a victim of your own mind. You're no longer a procrastinator. You're a human being who sometimes chooses to delay action for very understandable reasons. And that changes everything. Now I want to know, looking back at your biggest procrastination patterns, can you see what your brain was trying to protect you from? Write in the comments one thing you've been avoiding, and what you think your subconscious is afraid will happen if you start. Let's help each other see that we're all just humans trying to avoid pain and move toward growth. If this shifted something for you, if you can finally see your procrastination differently, hit that subscribe button. Because understanding your mind is the first step to mastering your life. And remember, you're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not undisciplined. You're just scared. And that's completely human.